Welcome to the rich tradition of Munich brewing, where Spaten Brewery, a cornerstone since its founding, introduced the world to the Helles Lager beer in 1894. This golden, medium-bodied brew is celebrated for its clean, bready malt flavors, balanced by floral hops and a gentle bitterness. Originating as Munich's response to the Pilsner, Spaten's Helles set the standard for this beloved style in Bavaria and beyond. Join us as we explore the delightful simplicity of Helles, a true beer lover's staple.
Hey, welcome back to the channel, folks. We're going to be making a Munich Helles this time. I'm also going to be using the Mythical Hammer yeast from White Labs, the WLP808. This is going to be pretty simple grain bill, just Pilsner, Munich malt 20, and then some Vienna malt. Almost 5 pounds, 4 pounds, 13 ounces of Pilsner. 9 ounces of Munich malt 20, and then 4.5 ounces of Vienna. I'm just using Tettnang hops. They're at 2.6% alpha acid, and I'm just doing that an ounce at the 60-minute boil, right at the very beginning. As I said, I'm using the Mythical Hammer yeast. If you have gone over to Clawhammer's YouTube channel, there's an entire there's an entire video brew day they did, about 3 hours long, of making it was a lager. Now I can't remember. I don't know exactly what they made now, but anyways, they used the Mythical Hammer, which they did a collaboration with White Labs. They also had a representative from White Labs there, so there's a lot of explanation on the yeast itself and other yeasts. They talked about a bunch of other things about White Labs yeast and stuff. So if you want to, I'll put a link down below and you can go over and watch that, check it out. This is my second time I've used this Mythical Hammer. The first time it came out, I made an IPA. If you've seen that video, it's out. That one came out really good. I fermented that at the very top end of what they recommend, which is 64 is the max, 50 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. I did it at about 63. Did my diacetyl rest at 68, and then we cold crashed and kegged. This one is going to be obviously a Munich Helles lager, so this one I'm going to let lager. I'm not going to pressure ferment this, so I'm just going to let it run out at about 52 degrees, and we'll see how this one turns out. There's a lot of citrus aroma, I believe, that's coming from this yeast. So this one, with just one burst of hops, should indicate a little bit more of the contribution of the yeast in aroma and flavor compared to a IPA that I had put Cascade hops in, which obviously have a citrus aroma and flavor to them already. So we'll compare the two, at least I'll compare the two. So I've already added my salts. We are doing a step mash this time, so I overshot the 122 that I'm going to start at. So I'm just letting this cool down before I add my grist, even though it will probably drop it a little bit once I add it in there, but I'm just going to let it come down a couple more degrees. I added my 5 gallons, just a hair over 5 gallons of my distilled water. Salts are added. This is ready to go. Just waiting for the temperature to get to the right spot before I mash in. As I said, I'm doing a step mash. So the first mash is going to be for 20 minutes at 122 Fahrenheit. Then we'll step it up to 146. I'm going to do a half hour at 146 Fahrenheit. Then we'll bump it up to 158. I'm going to do another half hour at 158. And then we'll mash out at 168 for 10 minutes. So this is going to be a little bit longer, just about 20 minutes longer mash time than normal. But hopefully it's going to help the flavor of this beer. So I believe we're probably just about ready. Yeah, let's mash in. So my unadjusted pH, according to Beersmith, should be about 5.8. and we are at 5.7. So I'm going to have to add a little lactic acid, get my little calculator out and figure out how much it is. So the Beersmith calculator says 3.6 mils. My pH dropped a little bit. It's fluctuating, but it's about the same. 3.6 mils, that's what we're going for. Gosh darn it. 2, 3, 0.6. That was 3/4 of a capful. Our protein rest is completed. We're going to bump it up to 146 for 30 minutes. And once we get up to temperature, we will start the timer for 30 minutes. After adjusting our pH is at 5.25. So I was trying to adjust it for 5.3. So we're right there. Our beta rest is done. We're going to bump it up to 158 for our alpha rest. And that is going to be for 30 minutes. We're done with the mash. Going to raise the temperature up to 168, do our mash out for 10 minutes. We're done with the mash. I'm going to take out the basket. Let me get this ready, actually. So we'll let this drain for 10 minutes. We'll turn up the heat to 75% or so, just to get the wort close to boil, and then it'll only take a couple minutes to get it up to boil after I take the basket out. All right, so a boil is started. I'm going to add the first and only addition of Tettnang hops. That was an ounce. Set the timer for 60 minutes, if I can find my phone. All right, we got 15 minutes left in the boil. I'm adding my yeast nutrient and Werflock tablet. And then we're also going to start recirculating through the plate chiller. I'm using a plate chiller today instead of the counterflow chiller. Boil's done. We ran the boiling wort through the plate chiller and the pump and everything, so that's good. Turn off the heat. All right, welcome back, guys. Today we're doing the Helles. As you saw in the video, how this came about. Excuse me. Turned out beautiful. I mean, this is bubbling like crazy. We got some good carbonation. Nice, beautiful head, crystal clear, gold straw color. Just a beautiful beer. Turned out great. So this one I made, excuse me, I don't know when I made it, March 7th. So this is roughly 40 days or so. As I said earlier, this was a 4 pounds, 13 ounces of Pilsner, 9.1 ounces of Munich malt 20, 4.5 Vienna malt, 4.5 ounces. This was made with the Mythical Hammer, White Labs and Claw Hammer's yeast that they put out. This came out at 4.3%. It is 17 IBUs and 4.3 in the color. As I said, beautiful. Man, that head's just standing there too. I also did a different thing during fermentation. If you've watched Brewlosophy, and Martin Keane did a segment on slowly lowering the temperature to cold crash. It is supposed to create a clearer beer, and it also is supposed to create a longer lasting head. I sort of adapted that one, and that again is going to be another video, but I was able to figure out a way of automatically slowly lowering my Inkbird because I have one of the 308 Wi-Fi ones, and I was able to program it to slowly lower approximately 5.5, 6 degrees Fahrenheit every 12 hours until it got down to 34 degrees for cold crash. So check that video out. That one's going to be coming up soon. I know in Martin's video, he asked or just said he wanted to somehow automate the lowering the temperature, because the way he was doing it, he was actually had to go down and physically change the temperature on the Inkbird every 12 hours. And it was just something he did, you know, if you forget, then you're not gonna be able to do it. So check that video out. That'll be coming up soon. On to the aroma. If I can fight this head here, geez. So it does have a grainy, a sweet, you can smell a little sweetness to it. Low spice, not a lot of spicy to it. Floral, herb on the hops. Man, that's so good. Oh my God. It's very clean, nice malt characteristic to it. As the descriptors say, it's supposed to have a very clean, white, persistent head. And I'm gonna tell you, that head is not going down at all. And we got a good carbonation on this one. And it's about time I got the carbonation right on one of these things. Low bitterness. That maltiness comes right through. I mean, there's a little bit of bitterness to it, but it's a very good combination between the two. Obviously, this was the answer to from Munich for Pilsners. They are sort of challenging the Pilsners when Helles came out. But it does have a little bit more of hop character to it. Not a lot, but a little bit more. But came out really well. So again, this came out great. I'm really happy with this beer. I was very patient with it. I let this sit in the fermenter for at least I think it was 28 days. I think it stayed in the fermenter. So it's definitely had its time. Again, it's been in the Kieser here about a week, I think. So with the cold crash time and the time in the Kieser, it's definitely had it's lagered for quite a while. We get to the end. Please like and subscribe as always. I'm happy that everyone tunes in. We're gonna be popping out some videos real quick here just because I got lagged with a new Kieser build. We will be seeing some more videos coming up. I got a little bonus here at the end if you want to stick around and watch it. But otherwise, cheers, folks. Please come back. Helles, great beer. Definitely a good beer. Peace. All right, so a little bonus here. At the Genesee Brew House, our brewmaster, Dean Jones, made his Helles. And his Helles last year actually won the best all-around beer of New York State, won the New York State Governor's Cup, won a gold medal in light lager. And this is his. This one did not get entered in that competition this year because it wasn't done fermenting. This one actually had to ferment a total of 60 days. And it just, he kept checking it, and it wasn't quite right. So he didn't want to take it out of the fermenter and ended up not being able to submit it into the Governor's Cup competition. So, which is a New York State craft brewers competition, I believe is what it's called actually. So he didn't actually enter it, but his actually this year came out better than last year's, and at least that's what I believe. And he says the same thing. He believes that too. But considering I made my Helles, I wanted to compare the two. I think you can see it. Mine is a little darker, not a lot. It does look like it on camera. His is going to be a little bit more clear, but his head lost. But that's probably because it's been sitting in a growler for a week and a half, So it's been in the growler longer than it should have. So I'm not gonna say that it doesn't have a good head, because it does actually when I pour from the tap at work. A little bit more spiciness to his. Yeah, yep. His has definitely got a little bit more spiciness to it. I want to say malt character is real close. It's really close on these two. I would say hoppiness, excluding from the spiciness that his seems to have. Hop character wise, they're pretty equal. I'm going to say that they're very comparable beers. I don't know what Dean's going to say. I am going to have to bring him in mind and have him give it a shot. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll get that done before I finish this video production up, and so I'll be able to answer that question. Again, like I said, his is a little clearer. I got a lot of condensation on this glass here. Oh no, his is definitely clear. Now I get the condensation off of this one. Yeah, his is definitely clear. Obviously his is filtered. They do run it through a fairly large filtering process. So, mine is not filtered, just lagered. They're close. They're close. I'm just going to have to give him a little bit more on the spicy side. Yeah. Well, I'm pleased with him. So, anyways, that's just a little extra. Just maybe I'll do it as a short. But anyways, hey guys, 2 Helleses. Like and subscribe. If you order one of these when you go out sometime, please call it a Helles and not a Hells, like most people do when they come into the brewery. It's a Helles. So, like and subscribe. Enjoy a Helles. If you're in Rochester, Genesee Brew House, check it out. A lot of history there. Cheers.